I was kind of brought up in the era where you get a job out of college and you work that job for 30 years and retire.
You know, I go to church, I pray, I believe God, But I was believing that check was going to be in my account every month, too.
Listen.
And there are days I have cried. I have questioned, like, is this real? Okay, because before I took the dive into A Squared, I applied to 40 different positions. Hey y'all, February is Black History Month, and seated at the table are 3 women who embody Black history 365 days a year. We're going to get real about being Black female entrepreneurs and give you some updates on heart disease and American Heart Month. Well, welcome back to the RX Factor podcast. I am your host, Doctor Lany. Do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification button so you'll be the first to know whenever I upload. With me today, I have the intelligent, the beautiful, the trailblazing owners and principal consultants of MedsPLUS Consulting LLC.
Yes.
Dr. Pauline Long. And Dr. Jennifer Campbell, BKA J. Campbell on the beat.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies.
Hey, Dr. Lany.
Hi. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. It's about time.
That's
on me.
It's been too long.
Y'all know how I do.
Yes.
I'm posting sporadic.
Listen, we just glad to have a seat at the table with you.
Hey. So I thought it was only right to kick off Black History Month with 2 of the greatest to ever do it. And I mean that on God and everything I love.
Oh, God.
So tell the listeners a little bit about MedsPLUS, like your little elevator pitch.
Absolutely. So MedsPLUS Consulting is an independent pharmacy and healthcare consulting firm. We founded in 2008, and our mission is just to engage, 2018. That's right. Look, my child was born in 2008. But founded in 2018, and our mission is just to engage and inspire patients to be the champion of their health. So one thing we always talk about, working in big box pharmacy, all those years, being behind the counter, we would have people come up and we would notice they didn't have any information about their health conditions. They would ask for the little green pill or the little blue pill, and we're like, okay, what do you take it for? I don't know. And so, me and Jennifer got together and was like, there has to be a way to have like a personalized conversation with patients, just comprehensive, educate them about their disease, educate them about the medication, because we know that educated patients have better outcomes. Absolutely. So that was the main kind of mission behind MedsPLUS Consulting. That's what we started. Yes.
Yeah, and so when we started, we dipped our toe in entrepreneurship. So we were still working full time. She was at the long letter, big box. I was at the 3-letter.
At the 3-letter.
Big box. And we continued to grind. We would make sure our schedules align, like weekends off, if there's an event, we're texting each other while we're working. And, Dr. Pauline was on maternity leave with her son, the magnificent Seth.
Yes.
And we would go to the local library, and that was our first office.
Yes.
He would be in
his little seat.
His seat. The cradle /
the pumpkin seat. That's what we call it, the pumpkin seat.
Okay.
Just in there, just as nice and comfy and chill. And we developed our domains, what we wanted to embody as a company. And sometimes it's like, okay, gotta go to work. And to the big box. And then, lo and behold, fast forward to 2021, when the vaccines for COVID came to market, or became available. We had our structure, LLC, everything. So when there was a need to expand into minority communities to do community COVID vaccine clinics, we were called upon. And we were ready. So we took the vaccines to the community. The first weekend, we were at a local church, probably about maybe 2 minutes off the interstate. So it was a great location, large church. A lot of people were familiar with it. They came out. And that was back during the time when you had to register for a vaccine.
Yes, make that appointment.
Yep.
So we had the scheduling system, we had everything. So we had primarily Pauline's family was there staffing positions.
Awesome. Yeah.
I took the door
Okay.
because I had to make sure if your name wasn't on here, you're not getting a shot.
You're not getting in.
It was that serious. I was the bouncer.
Yes, the COVID vaccine bouncer.
I don't see your name on the list.
Exactly. I mean, seriously, that's what it became.
True story.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
True story.
Yeah.
It's a doctor's office that was not too far up the street. And she was there and she partnered with us, so we're grateful for that. But people were coming up, well, my doctor told me to come. It's like, okay, can you step to the side? Because, we need to get the people that registered first.
Yeah, they had appointments.
Yeah.
So we did over 400 shots that first weekend. It ran like we had been planning it for months, even though we hadn't. They were very thrilled with what we accomplished. So we were able to move on and do bigger and better. We would be in places, the local news would come out. So, Jennifer was working at that 3-letter place. So people saw me and knew me. So, eventually we just continued to move forward. We, at that time, Pauline was like, okay, Jennifer, what you gonna do? I'm like, what you talking about? We can't keep dipping our toe. We got to go into the pool or get
stay
out of the pool. So we jumped into the pool, all in, and full-time entrepreneurs from that time to now.
Yes.
So that's where we are.
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
I think it's an amazing story of, it's like that old adage that success comes at the corner of preparation and opportunity. So we literally we founded our company in 2018. This opportunity came late 2020, early 2021. So you're talking about 2.5, almost 3 years that we were behind the scenes preparing. So when the opportunity presented itself and they said, hey, can y'all do this? We were like, absolutely. And that created the success that we're still riding that wave now. So you got to be prepared. So when the opportunity comes, you're ready.
Like someone said, make sure your white paper is together to get that green
paper. That's right.
Run that back. You got one more time for the listeners.
Make sure you have your white paper together in order to receive your green paper.
That is true.
AKA
That is true.
money.
Correct.
Now, so I heard you say over 400 vaccines on the first weekend or the first day.
It was actually the first day.
day.
That whole weekend, we did like almost 1,000 shots.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
How do you top that? Like, has that been your benchmark? Like, okay, we came out the gate windmilling on the grass. So,
well, you know what? It's interesting because that first weekend, of course, the demand was so high specifically for that vaccine. So thankfully, we were able to partner with Sanford Pharmacy School, our alma mater, and get some students out. We even had a professor out one of the days.
Yes.
She came out and helped administer vaccine. So that is like our biggest turnout as far as volume in one day. But I feel like we've been able to spread our wings and do things that are a lot more impactful. So COVID vaccines were impactful. It's gotten us to where we are now. We're able to live somewhat normal lives and not have to worry about dying from COVID like it was back then.
Correct.
But now we've been able to take those same locations, use those same partnerships, and expand our services to where now we're offering full biometric screenings in the community. We're able to do all of the ACIP recommended vaccines. So we can look at your vaccine record and tell if you need a COVID updated booster, if you need shingles, if you're over 50, if you need pneumonia, or we're able to look at all of the vaccines. And the same way we do our children to make sure they're up to date with vaccines, we're doing that with adults now to make sure they're up to date. So it's just about entrepreneurship is about pivoting, about recognizing the needs of the community and finding innovative ways to meet those needs. And that's something that I never thought would be so exciting to me, but that's like the best part of the day is just figure out what's going on and how can we insert ourselves into that to make a difference. So I love it. I love it. Yes. And we know you do too, ma'am.
you know, I be out here bobbing and weaving.
That's right. I know. That's what it feels like sometimes, though. It's like, okay, what do I do now? Okay, wait. Okay, that kind of dried up, i.e. COVID vaccines. So how can we reinvent ourselves to still remain useful to the community?
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do now.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think I was on the opposite end of COVID was good to me. I don't know about y'all. But instead of the vaccines, I was on the testing side.
Yes. I remember your post on social media.
At first, it was like the molecular test. You had to schedule an appointment. The rapid tests were available for order only, or either you could only get those from certain places. Like when I was flying to Ghana, I had to order them from the airline.
Oh, wow.
So once they became readily available, I was like, yes, Lord. And it became well, I was planning on doing the test to treat, but Medicare had a like preferred testing locations where they could get free tests out to Medicare beneficiaries. So I was number one on the website until like the last 2 weeks. Somebody with A1 Pharmacy came in and took my number one spot.
Oh, wow.
But whenever the representatives would refer patients, they would go to that website, and I was the first one on there.
Yes. A squared.
Cha-ching. But like you said, you had to pivot because now you can go to supermarket. You can order the test yourself offline in boxes.
Yes.
They're available at your, every drugstore now. So I had to hit one step pivot.
That's right. That's right.
You were ready.
Yes.
And you were able to pivot because you had everything in order.
Yes.
And that's the key.
Correct.
Yeah,
I was in Ghana doing my Medicare application, and this was at the time I think Omicron was just starting to get revved up. So when I came back, I was ready to go.
Hit the ground running.
Yeah. That
Awesome.
preparation. I mean, that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. That's what I love about it. Me and Jennifer talk about it all the time. How we'll be talking with a potential partner, and they're asking, "Can you do this?" And we're like, we can do what we need to do.
Yes.
That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. When we were at the big box chains, it was like you had to go through this hierarchy of people to get a decision made. And sometimes it was on their priority list, sometimes it wasn't. But we're like, opportunities are our priority list. So what do you have? What are you presenting? And if it fits in line with our mission, vision, and values, it's like, okay, we'll consider this. And it's our decision. It's not anybody else above us decision. So that's the beauty of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Love
Autonomy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. Now, with you all jumping into the pond and just jumping in there, if you had to do it all over again, would you just do it the same way, or would you do more preparation before you took the big leap into entrepreneurship?
Ooh.
That's
You know
a good
what?
question.
I can go ahead and say I think I would do it the exact same way because I mean, here's the thing: we learn as we go. We learn as we went along the journey, but I feel like we took a lot of time before we. I used to use the term "took the veil off." So we had our social media channels, we had our website, and you would not find a picture of either one of us on those channels because we still worked for our respective jobs, and we didn't want we were behind the veil, so to speak. And so we were able to do a lot of research and a lot of figuring out what services we can offer, how we're going to get compensated for those services, because as an independent pharmacist, the building kind of has more rights and availability than us as pharmacists.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, and so that's the thing. So we were like, okay, how we know what services we want to provide. We know what services our community needs because we were in the chains for 20, 30 years. We knew what people were coming up asking. And the problem with us was we had a passion to serve the underserved. However, we knew that they could not afford cash pay consultant prices, and as consultant pharmacists, we could not bill their insurance. So we did a lot of preparation and research behind the scenes, and I feel like that prepared us so that when grants became available, we already knew what we wanted to do. We knew who we needed to reach and why, and what the projected outcome would be. And that preparation just got us to the point where when the grants became available, it was just a matter of figuring out the language to use. We knew what we wanted to do. Just how do we verbalize this to the grant holders? So I would do it the same way. I felt like we were prepared once we unveiled ourselves. Yeah.
Anyone want to add on that?
Based on my experience and where I was at that point, I wouldn't have changed a thing. Because I was able to see God in it.
Absolutely.
Because if I had been in it, I would have messed it up. So I knew I was on the right path. We were on the right path. And how he maneuvered, put the right people in our path, to be able to serve his people is what has been happening since then up until now. So it's been a great journey. And looking back, I would have never imagined I would have been in this space. Do I feel capable? Yes. Back then, no. I'm they're telling me what to do. I'll do it, in the ability that I have, but we're creating a blueprint, and that's not for the faint at heart. We would have times when we just sitting there and talking it out, times when we're praying, and the biggest prayer is no lack, and God has provided. So if anything, I have seen him show up in my life even more so through this journey had I not been on this journey. And I'm so grateful for that. Because I thought I had faith. I go to church, I pray, I believe God, But I was believing that check was going to be in my account every month too.
Listen.
Every other week.
Right. Making plans before, and that business could have shut down. We didn't know, but we were still, So this has really, from a God perspective, has shown up and built me in ways that I could have never imagined or never knew that I needed. And I sure needed it. I really did. So I wouldn't have had it any other way.
So what about you, Dr. Lany? Like, we know that we followed each other's journeys, and we have our girl time and sister time and stuff like that. But me and Jennifer had each other. You're a solopreneur. So how has that been for you, being a solo? Because we could strengthen each other when one of us felt like, okay, things are getting kind of weird. We don't know what we're going to do. We could rely on each other. How did you get through those times when you were having to make the big decisions? And
well, shouts out to Dr. Jerika Dye.
Yes,
Dr. She was my coach for a year. I did her coaching program, and she was actually the one that was like, "Are you gonna trust God for real or not?"
All right.
I was like, I mean, yeah, I do. Right? Because I was teetering back and forth on a job that did not appreciate me. They did not value me, and they weren't afraid to show that on a regular basis. And she was, just telling me a little bit about her story and how you're just going to have to just jump out there. And so I would definitely likewise do that again. Because if I wouldn't have, I would still be on that job, still working 12, 13 hours a day, kind of trying to do my A squared thing on the side. Let's see. Thankfully, my fiance at the time was also
husband now.
He also is an entrepreneur, so I was able to vent and bounce things against him, and he gets it.
Yes.
Where other people would be like, you just need to go ahead and shut that down. And just
You like what you do? I used to hate them questions. Of course I like what I do.
Get out now. He was able to lend that support to me. My family has always been uber supportive. My mom and sister, whatever I was doing, especially if it was virtual, they were usually beat me there.
Yes.
They'd be like, who are these people? I'm like, they're with me. They're with me. But definitely family. Because it's a lot. And there are days I have cried. I have questioned, like, is this real? Okay, now, Lord, I know what your voice sounds like.
I know.
I'm pretty positive I heard you, because before I took the dive into A squared, I applied to 40 different positions. I was all across the United 4-0.
Wow.
It took me a while to hear the no. It took a minute. I applied to a position in the United Arab Emirates.
Wow.
UAE is hot in the Middle East. They needed
Yeah.
a pharmacy director at a hospital.
Wow.
They're like, I made
They speak English?
They do, yeah. They were going to pay me pretty nice.
Yeah.
There's no state tax over there, so I was going to be making
Nice.
a whole bunch of bank.
Right.
Food stipend, housing stipend, all that.
You're adventurous, I give you that.
I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And they were all a no. And
Wow.
finally, I was like, because I had started when I had my leg surgery in 2018. I had to be still, so I was able to. I told my mom, I was like, "Oh, I've planned more, about this than I have in the last year, whatever." And I didn't, start until 2019. But I was ready to rock and roll and.
Look at this commonality.
I know.
I didn't know it was
No clue.
2018.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I had my leg surgery, it was folks have been asking me questions online and other healthcare professionals. So I was like, I started as like a concierge type firm. So I was like, maybe I could do a concierge pharmacy. And so I, just the name and color scheme and formation documents, all those things. But yeah, it was 2018. We sat down, 2019. We got that white paper.
Yes. And that's right, because thinking about our journey, I was on maternity leave in 20, because I had my son in June of 2018. And it was during that time that I was like, okay, I literally have 12 weeks. Off work. And with a newborn, I would have him sitting in his little seat and I'm at the kitchen table with my iPad, just planning and writing and utilizing that time. And we would take naps and I would get back up and it's at the computer. And for literally 12 weeks, and we would meet at the library. This is what we have, da da da. And then so by October of 2018, our LLC was formed and we were off to the races. And that was done during maternity leave. Like you said, that quiet time, that still time, you're not having to worry about work and all that kind of stuff, just able to think and create. And that's a beautiful thing.
So this intersection, back to Dr. Jerika Dodd, let's give her props.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Because she was on LinkedIn at a time when I was laid off from my corporate position at the 3-letter. Devastated, didn't know what to do. And I had took the 6-month severance versus going back to work in the store, which I hadn't worked behind the counter in about 12 years. So, yeah. And I know what we wanted them to do, and I was like, I don't want to.
Now me
Yes. So spoke to the hubbies, like, we agreed, sat home. So then I started getting on social media more, LinkedIn, saw Jerika Dodd, started seeing these different pharmacy entrepreneurs, which I'm like, they don't own an independent pharmacy?
Right.
That's what we were taught.
Yeah.
That's all we knew.
Yeah.
So I came across a group that was doing a conference. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to bet on myself. I feel good about that. Went to that conference. The first person I saw was Dr. Jerika Dodd. I was like, I know you. And she's looking at me like, okay. But, from seeing her on social media. And from there, conversation and, that association grew. And I started to dig deeper. Then I came across Blair Tillmeyer. Shouts out to Blair. Pharmapreneur Academy. What? You mean to tell me I've been drinking the Kool-Aid and all of this is going on around me?
This whole world is unfolding, and I got my head stuck down in the 3-letter. Yes, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
It took me a long time, and I'll never forget, we had to drive, my husband and I, we drove out of town to a family member's funeral, and then we was at the hotel that night. I said, oh, this was the deadline. I said, I got to make a decision. I bet on myself. Boom. Sent that money in. So part of that community, and that really helped. So I know what you're saying as far as when you're by yourself. Before Pauline and I joined up together, and going through, hearing other people's journeys, hearing what steps they were taking, giving ideas. I started working on my little PowerPoint.
Yes.
I was going to take it to a doctor.
Yeah.
He said, well, when you get some more, when you get some more people, come back to me.
When you prove your concept, come back. That's essentially what he said. This sounds good, but I just don't believe it.
No, don't do it.
But right. So I kind of used my little networking skills. Had went to some of the pharmacists. Hey, how you doing? It's like, yeah, the doctor down there. He he'll try some new things, but not that day. But anyway. It was a blessing in disguise, of course.
Exactly.
And then, had that. And then, Pauline and I had talked. And that's when we had joined forces. And just, I get it. And, I really appreciate your journey, as you said, Pauline, about being in it in yourself. Mm-hmm. Because the mind is a terrible thing.
It's tricky.
Mm-hmm. If we can't get those thoughts captive, and it'll talk you down, then it'll lift you up,
right?
Then we have to learn how to do that. So being able to have someone to direct you, and the biggest thing that Dr. Jerika did was allowed us to see all of the things that we're able to do as pharmacists. But when we work for a company, they steer us in the direction of what they wanted you to use. And then the other things went silent. She awakened those things. We could have been teaching classes. We could have been had a pharmacy tech school. All of these things that we were experts in, but they had us so busy to where we had no energy left to do anything else.
Worker bees.
Once that was removed, sky's the limit.
Exactly.
And in God's hand, it's bigger than the sky.
That's right. Yes. I mean, there is no,
So
there is no limit.
Yeah, hats off to Dr. Jerika Dodd.
Yes, appreciate you so much.
And all the pharmacy entrepreneurs out there. So hopefully we're inspiring more by putting our content out there, this experience, sharing them to them that it is possible.
Yes.
But you know what? Even beyond that, the patients need us. I mean, we're in the community, you're in the community all the time. And if there's one thing that I've seen more than anything else is that patients need a holistic healthcare team. Gone are the days when you go to your doctor and your doctor is the only person that's able to offer you medical advice or give you a treatment regimen. Like this should be a multidisciplinary team.
Yes.
And that's where I feel like we're headed. And I just feel like we're kind of at the front of the line as far as making sure that people in the community have what they need. Jennifer talks about all the time how, whether you're a long-term care facility or like a nursing home resident, they get this really disciplined, detailed care from the director of nursing, the physician that's over the facility, the pharmacist comes in once a month and does the medication review. But that's because they're in a facility and they get all of these extra benefits. Well, why can't people at home get those same kind of benefits?
Thanks.
Why do they have to stand in a line at the pharmacy for 30, 45 minutes to pick up the prescription and then feel like they can't ask a question because everybody's running around, so busy in the back?
Yes.
Like they deserve the same care. So that's what we're attempting to do is bring that same kind of comprehensive care that someone in a nursing home would receive, but give them that same benefit at home. And they need that. They need it.
It's beautiful. Yes. So, while we're in the vein of Black woman awesomeness, do you know of any other Black woman-owned pharmacies in the Birmingham metro area besides we two?
Currently, I think it's just us, but we have to give praises to Santonia.
Dr. Sam,
yes. I remember when I used to visit her at her location, having students, customers, and all of that.
Heavenly Care Pharmacy?
Yes.
Bessemer, shout out.
Yeah.
She was one of the first that I'm aware of.
Yeah, and I actually remember when I was pharmacy manager in the Bessemer location, and she was a pharmacist at our competitor, and we used to call and get copies and, talk about different patients and transfer prescriptions, but we would always have our side conversations, and she would tell me that she, was planning to open a pharmacy, and I always admired that because at the time, I never thought that I would be an entrepreneur. So just to hear her saying that, and it's not going to be bad. I feel like I can offer patients more as an independent pharmacy owner than I can here at Three Letter.
Yeah.
And so she would talk about it, and I just admired that so much. And then when she did it, Jennifer and I went by to see her one time, and it was just an amazing to see a Black woman, open a pharmacy. We know how expensive it is to open a pharmacy, and how much of a risk it is because of things like declining reimbursements and DIR fees, all the things. Pharmacies are closing. When you have multi-billion-dollar pharmacies closing stores because of, profitability, then that makes what we're doing even more risky because it's just us. I mean, I'm sorry, but my livelihood, my family's livelihood is riding on this being successful.
Exactly.
And so we're risking it all.
Yes.
When a CVS or a Walgreens store goes up, if it has to close, they have 10,000 other stores to make up for that revenue. If something happens and MedsPLUS or A Squared were to close, this is what we have. We're risking it all. And so shout out to Dr. San. We definitely appreciate you paving the way. And yeah. Shout out Dr. San.
And if there is another one, then y'all just gonna have to tell us. So
I know, let us know. Because we don't know. We'd love to know because this is a sisterhood right here.
Yes.
I love that this is not competition. Yes. This is sisterhood and collaboration. Yeah. Yes. And so when we do that, we all win. Yes. And so that's what I'm so excited about. I love this. So Dr. San, come join us, girl.
Yes. I remember I used to be at corporate and I would call her pharmacy and I was like, this is so awesome.
Yes. I know. What you need?
Yes. So fun fact, she helped me make it through pharmacy calculations at Stanford.
Wow.
She was with Dr. Alverson, 4th year, and I think it was like her academia rotation. So she came in, your girl was struggling, okay?
Pharmacy calculations ain't no joke. Listen.
I was like, this might be the one. Right out the gate.
Right. I was about to say it's early on too.
First year. But she sat next to me and I was like, can you help me with this? And she was like, it's real simple. You just, the way her mind works, it simplifies things. She's like, you just do this. I was like, what? You sure that's right. I might be all right. Yes.
I think I'm gonna make it. I know.
Yes. So shout out to you, Dr. Sam.
Yes, love you, girl. Love you.
So I want to give props to another fellow Black woman-owned business. That's Digging Her Roots Boutique. So I've worn their Pretty Girl 2.0 long kimono, the pink and green one. I do videos and stuff, like a whole bunch. I'm surprised I don't have it on today. But it's comfortable and the wash and care is super, super easy. As a dark chocolate woman, I've come to appreciate how I look in African prints. Yes. And Digging Her Roots Boutique specializes in African-inspired statement pieces, as well as sorority paraphernalia, HBCU apparel, and all things for the culture. They collaborate with artisans worldwide, increasing economic development in countries like Liberia, Ghana, and Nigeria. And they give back to HBCUs. So you can use my code Dr. Lany for 15% off your next order. Go to diggingherrootsboutique.com and use my code DRLANY at checkout for 15% off your next order.
Nice.
So I won't say we're single-handedly carrying the innovation of pharmacy practice in this city forward, but I'm going to say it.
That's right.
We are carrying the innovation of pharmacy practice forward in the city of Birmingham, Alabama.
Yes.
We just do pharmacy different. Hello? Come on, Fubu. Shout out to Fubu.
Shout out,
John.
Fubu.
We see you, boy.
Yes.
Future friend of the pod.
Yes.
So how does that make you feel as a practitioner that we are trailblazing this thing like this?
That's the best thing about this journey. It's so empowering when you have the opportunity to see a need, feel a need, especially for our people, and being able to educate them on what right looks like.
Ooh.
We a lot of our community goes with the flow, except those things that are. We're comfortable in complaining. And we had a conversation with a patient the other day. Do you like your pharmacy? Well, been going to them a long time. Okay, I'll restate that.
Right.
Do you like your pharmacy? Then the truth came out that when I go in there, they seem so stressed out. We have to wait in line for 30 minutes. I said, there is a better way. You're standing here. They came to the office to get immunizations. And it's like they're scared, like they're going to miss out on something if they leave the chaos. So after more conversation, I'm going to be back. When I go to my doctor in a couple of months, I will be back. And we had conversations about some questions they had. And I said, would you have felt comfortable to have these conversations with that person? No, they just seem so busy. I said, well, why are you settling for less? And that's the thing. We don't have to settle for less. We need to know what right looks like. As Pauline mentioned, healthcare team. Your doctor can only do so much. You only have so much time with them just because of the constraints on the healthcare system.
Right.
So with less time, there's not an opportunity to really ask questions, to really get a deeper understanding. As pharmacists, we know how to manage your chronic disease states. We know how to help you learn more about your medication, how to manage it, when to take it, how to take it, what not to take with it, particularly over the counter, and making sure you're having good results so that you're not in the hospital. So you have your physician, you have your pharmacist, you may have another practitioner such as a physical therapist or whatever that condition looks like. Then we can help you to make recommendations. So making sure that we get out of the old adage of we go to our doctor for everything. We have a lot of subspecialties that can help impact and help you to live a better quality of life.
Absolutely.
How does it make you feel?
You know what? It makes me feel proud because I come from a family that does not contain any entrepreneurs that I'm aware of. My dad was always the one that kind of made things happen. And so, when I was growing up, he had 2 full-time jobs. And then he worked on the weekends doing painting and construction type jobs just for extra money. So I guess I learned my hustle and my kind of make it happen. I got that from him. And so it makes me proud to be able to know that I'm having such a profound impact on the health of the citizens of Birmingham. Particularly when we were doing the COVID vaccine clinics, when we got that call, it was almost like a desperate call. Like, we have these major mass clinics set up, but there are subsets of the population that can't get there, whether it's due to transportation, they can't make appointments online, they don't have internet access, and we're missing a whole population of people because of all of these barriers. We need you, MedsPLUS, to help them overcome these barriers. Like, that is big. That's huge, and especially this was a county commissioner, and we were like, this is really, really big. So to know that we are positively impacting people's lives, we are breaking barriers to health care. We are improving health outcomes in communities that have historically been ignored. That's big. And so it makes me very proud to be a part of that.
Yeah, I'm also proud too.
Yes.
I feel bipolar with it though sometimes because it's like on one side I'm proud and then on the other side I'm like, me though?
Right.
But this is what we got into it for though, right? And after them 40 applications, clearly.
And I can even
I
can even identify with that because at the point where I realized that I wasn't going to retire from my job, when I first started that job, I was like, I can retire from this. I did a corporate internship. I was at the corporate office for 3 months working with all the big wigs, the suits and the, business suits and stuff like that. And I knew that I wanted to. I was kind of brought up in the era where you get a job out of college and you work that job for 30 years and retire. That's kind of what my parents instilled in me. But about halfway through, I was like, something is changing. Something is shifting. I don't really know what it is. The job that I loved, I wasn't as in love with anymore. And then it got to the point where I loathed the job. Like there were times where I would sit in my car and cry because I did not want to go into that position. I didn't want to do that anymore. And what I realize now in hindsight is that God was making me uncomfortable in my comfortableness in order for me to move. Because had He allowed me to continue because I love what I do. I love being a pharmacist. I love the patient interaction. I love, being able to answer their questions and help them through, for a lot of people, difficult situations. I love that. I no longer liked it in the setting that I was doing it. And so, because I couldn't see a path forward as far as how to take something I love and kind of transform it into something that wasn't even there. So I had to, it just took a lot of prayer and a lot of quiet time, and that's kind of where MedsPLUS was born. So I can completely get that. I was just so uncomfortable, and it was just so that I would move. And now that I've moved, things are great. I mean, I just can't. I know. Look at me now.
Hey, look at me now. Hey. I love it. So if you could go back to the beginning stages of creating your business, what is one piece of advice you would give yourself?
I would say, and this is just practical, write everything down. And the reason I say that is, me and Jennifer talk about it all the time. I use my social media page almost as a journal. And so I literally can go back to my memories. I love when memories come up. Every morning, that's the first thing I look at. Because I can go back to 2017, 2018, when I was speaking things into existence that we literally are doing now. And at the time, I had no idea what it meant. I would just get inspired. I would, be able to sit down and write a Facebook post and, and submit it. Now, 5 years later, as the memory comes up, I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, that's prophetic. I mean, it's really prophetic. I don't think I'm a prophet, but there are things that I wrote back in 2017, 2018 that's literally is happening now. And I think that's amazing. So I would definitely say write everything down, even your biggest, wildest dreams. I was a part of, one of the things that caused me to actually send my resignation letter was I was a part of a 28-day dream devotion through a group called the Repurpose Tribe. Shout out Pastor Michelle and all of our tribe members. Boop, boop. But I was a part of a 28-day devotion. And when I tell you literally every day of that devotion, we got up every morning, 6 o'clock. Pastor Michelle would give us a devotion, give us a word. And every day I felt like she was talking to me, like you and I are sitting down talking now. Through that computer screen, I felt like she was right in front of me, telling me what I needed to do. About halfway through, I got a word, 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and went upstairs to my office and typed my resignation letter. After that, I did not hit send. I saved it on the computer. 2 days later, another message during the devotion. That next night, I got up and went up. I changed the date on the letter and sent it. And that's actually coming up, I think on the 21st was the day I sent my resignation letter, February 21st, I think it was. Wow. So we're coming up to 2 years now. No, 3 years. That was 2021. So we're coming up to 3 years now where the Lord literally woke me up and said, send it. And I went upstairs, I changed the date, and I hit send. It was probably 4:30 in the morning. So, I'm so grateful for that journey. I'm so grateful that I was able to write things down because I can look back now and see where I didn't even know what it meant back then, but now it's come to fruition, and it's amazing. So write it down. Write it down.
How about you,
Dr. I would say capital. One of the things that we did early on was to establish, of course, the bank account in the business. And in the process, we developed a relationship with a banker who's still our friend and now our customer. Shouts out Corey Green.
Yes.
And the reason we probably don't see many black pharmacies is because of capital. And typically is the way it normally works is you graduate from pharmacy school, you go to work for an independent, and that independent within the next 10, 15 years, they plan to retire. They allow you to buy into the business. So that person is set up because you have an established clientele. You just keep things going. For us, the journey is different. We don't have family members or distant relatives that own a pharmacy.
Right.
Some of the independent pharmacy owners, they probably would have not extended that grace to us.
For
So
sure, you're right.
we had to, however, God has provided.
That's right.
So we were able to take what we earned from the pandemic and be able to start our pharmacy. So now when you get to the crossroads and you want to do something different, okay, so what does that look like? And it's capital. The application process. So our business is established. Why you need to look at my personal credit?
Hello?
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Personal credit is everything, whether you've been in just starting your business or been in business 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So that would have been the thing that would have been more of a priority for me. And I know I'm a professional and people think, well, you know, things happen.
Life be life.
Life be life.
Life be life.
Billing.
Yes, they do.
And, you know, I came from, speaking of my former work history, when I was in corporate, and you were talking about, you saw you were going to retire from pharmacy. I was going to retire a district manager because I saw the other ones that retired, and it was stressful, but it wasn't the stress inside the store.
At the bench, yeah.
And, you know, I'm driving in the company car with the gas card and the cell phone and the laptop and on, and I could pretty much set my vacation. You know, if I want to go out of town on the holidays, I just email, I'll be gone. You know, have somebody to take calls for me while I'm out.
Nice.
And God said, boo-boo. I'm finna sit you down right now. For almost a year, it was 11 months, when my previous boss called me back in. Of course, they want you to go work in the hood, which was fine.
Shout out Ainsley.
Right.
5 points.
Yeah.
So the beauty of it was, because I had that time off and I was able to see entrepreneurship, see those different things, make those connections with other people, my mindset was different. So when I went in that store, okay, I'm running this store like it's mine.
Right.
I'm going to make these connections. I'm going to do this. But I still had to do the work, and yes, I did get rid of one time. But I knew they couldn't fire me for that.
Correct.
But anyway, that's the beauty of having been a boss, you know, those parameters. So, you know, we were able to, because I was in that position, making connections with physicians' offices, and one physician in particular, we were able to collaborate with.
Nice.
So that was the beauty of going back with that different mindset and putting things into motion.
Yeah.
And even to the point, I do not have a spiritual story like Dr. Pauline. There are spiritual components because God pushed me into my purpose because I wasn't obedient. So he said, you know, regardless, you're going to be there. This is what I need you to do. And I was pushed into my purpose. So I will say, when I did go back, it just confirmed that that wasn't where I was supposed to be. And in previous years, I was in place where people saw something in me. Oh, this will be good. Oh, you think so? Okay, yeah, I'll do it. Example, pharmacy supervisor, I knew I wanted to do that. I made a move to a different company in order to do that. I had been a pharmacy supervisor 7-ish years, and they needed more diverse DM candidates. Jennifer, we, want to get you on this track. Okay. My mom passed in 2013. I was off for a week. Buried her on a Saturday. Go back to work, because we take the week off leading up to, because we got to get the program together and everything.
Oh yeah.
You know how we We did. Went back to work on a Monday. Could have been 10 o'clock that morning. Boss called me down to his office. So, you ready to take the position? Yeah. Okay. I'm in the position, interview, do all this other stuff, get set up, do this, da-da-da-da-da. That was a rough transition for me. Did what I needed to do to be where I needed to be to get the results I needed to get. But, looking back at that, it was the initial stages was because someone said, I think you'll be good in this role, or we kind of need you in this role. Mm-hmm. So then when I went back, it was the same thing. Previous boss called. Yeah, but you know what? We was thinking, I was talking to my wife, and, this store is in trouble. And she said, well, why don't you call Jennifer Campbell? She can get it together. Yeah, I could do it. Went back behind the counter, which I felt more equipped because during that time I did brush up on my clinical skills, et cetera, and that type of thing. So I felt more equipped until I got in there. But anyway, was able to turn the store around. And then another opportunity came. Boss called me to the office. I thought I was going to get written up for the second time, but I didn't. Okay. He said, Jennifer, you're the Michael Jordan of the pharmacists. Hey. And wanted to put me in a 24-hour store. And I should have saw the signs before I went. I got COVID.
Oh, Lord.
It took me, how you have to do the control inventory before you change?
Yes.
It took me about 12 hours to do that control inventory because they had the baker sales, all of that. That just goes to show how busy that store was.
Oh, wow.
24 hours. And I went to work in that store, and I was like, what in the world did I sign up for? I have been, and like a lot of us do, Black women in particular, women in general, feel like you can take on a role, you can take the challenge, you go through a bad day, you're looking at, okay, what could I have done differently? What else is it going to take? What can we do to do this, that, and the other? So we're getting electronic scripts coming in. Okay, we working on them. That person working on them. The other person come in at 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. I'm still working on 12 o'clock scripts that have been e-scripted. People coming in the drive-through where my prescription. Y'all ain't never. La, 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 la. So my appeal that worked at the other store because we had a relationship didn't work at this store because you're just another new one. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there were some personal things that had happened with my sister, with my husband's brother, and then come to find out aunt of mine had passed, etc. And then I came to work the next day, and I just had a breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Appropriate.
Mm-hmm. I texted the scheduler. I need somebody else to come and finish my shift. I have some personal things I need to attend. That's still saved in my phone. And I haven't been back since. I have not been back since. So when I say pushed out, something that I never thought that I would succumb to. Mm-hmm. And it took me going into that position, number one, going back in the first place. And then number two, taking another role there again that wasn't meant for me, and pushing me out into my purpose. So, yeah, it was eye-opening. Mm-hmm. And here I am now.
Hey, look at you now. I know. Hey. Look at you now. Hey. I will echo your sentiment with working capital. That's one. And then two, be careful what you ask for and what you pray for. Because when it comes, you got to be ready. Yes. But working capital for sure. Like, I'm a first generation college graduate. Wow. My mom did some college classes. My grandma, she only went to 3rd grade. So I'm standing on their shoulders trying to get this entrepreneurship train on the track. And it takes money.
Yes,
like,
it does.
Ma'am.
It takes money. Okay?
Dollar bills, y'all.
Hello. Like, there were some days, especially in the beginning, $1,000 minimum spent every day.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't want to leave the house.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't want to spend this money.
Right.
So, thankfully with personal credit was good. Was gainfully employed. So I was able to save up, a lot of personal funds to put towards the cause. But it's still a lot of coins. So whatever you can do to solidify some working capital, because we don't have generational wealth.
Absolutely.
Like you said, we don't have a family member that previously owned a pharmacy or even that in with former pharmacy owners. And it's such a differential, because the companies that we're contracting with, the insurance companies, a lot of them started as insuring slaves. So I'm just coming to the
Wait a minute. I did not know that.
Right. Shouts out to you, though. You know who you are. Yes. And a lot of the life insurance companies, too. Same.
Now, I knew about the life insurance companies and the bogus policies.
But you have to think they were property.
Of course, because they're in bed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of who they're in bed with, the devil.
So it's, it's just behind the curve, way behind the curve. Sorry. But no, way behind the curve there. So definitely having as much working capital as possible, because we're entering the game at, I don't want to say disadvantage, but it's just different.
We're going to call a spade a spade. Yeah. It's a disadvantage. Yeah. We look at other business owners, whatever industry you're in, whether you're a baker or a chef with a food truck. Every business has its startup costs, but I think for pharmacy and healthcare in general, it's just really expensive to start a healthcare company. When you look at physicians, look at your physicians now. It's very rare to see an independent physician's office.
True.
You most likely will see your physician as a part of a group, whether it's, Complete Health or St. Vincent's or Grandview. You'll see them as a part of a group. And these are Birmingham. I know you have followers all over the world. But these are Birmingham.
Oh, y'all. Don't do that.
Yes. But you'll see these.
Correct.
That's right. You'll see these physicians as a part of a group, and that's because to start your own practice is expensive, from the personnel to the equipment to everything you need to get going. And pharmacy is the same. You would not imagine. I remember working back at my old job. I held in my hand a 30-count bottle of tablets that was $30,000. And I'm sitting here with something this big, like this thing right here is $30,000. So, it's just expensive. So to be able to have that capital and to have a plan to gain access to more capital is vital, is crucial.
Yes.
It's crucial.
Absolutely.
You got to survive.
All right. I like it. I like it a lot. Good combo, ladies. I love it.
I know, me too.
Okay, so in addition to Black History Month and all the fabulosity that it is, February is also American Heart Month.
It is.
The American Heart Association is celebrating its centennial year.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And the theme for American Heart Month is Bold Hearts. So they're encouraging everyone, especially women, to focus on heart health and speak up for themselves. So that's the be bold. Okay. Women and this is a quote from them, women in the United States are experiencing unacceptable, I'm like, y'all dropping the big, unacceptable and avoidable heart-related illness and death. And nearly half of U.S. women do not recognize that heart disease is the leading cause of death for women. To take it another level deeper, African American women are most affected by cardiovascular disease, 59%, followed by a strong second by African American men, 58.9%. So if you could convey one message to the listeners about heart health, whether it's cardiovascular disease, risk factors, what would you say?
I will say what I put on our Facebook page either yesterday or the day before. Every home should have a blood pressure meter.
Yes, I saw
Every
that.
home should have a blood pressure meter.
Yes.
Every home should have a blood pressure meter.
Yes.
And for many reasons. Number one is your home is your resting place. It's where you're comfortable. most people. And so that is typically a true reflection of your blood pressure. And we're talking about heart disease, cardiovascular health. The primary kind of output of that is your blood pressure. So everybody should know what your blood pressure typically runs. You should know how to properly use a blood pressure cuff. And when that number pops up, you should have some idea of whether it's good or bad. You don't have to really know whether you are stage 1, stage 2, hypertensive crisis. That's not as important as knowing when that number pops up on the screen, am I in good shape or do I need to call someone? Yes. That's what's important. So that would be the number one message I would convey. Get a blood pressure cuff at home. They are not expensive. You can literally get a digital cuff that you put it on properly, of course. Press start, and within 30 seconds, you have a blood pressure reading. That's all we're asking for. And if you go to the big box chains, if you come to MedsPLUS Consulting, you could probably get one of those for somewhere around $30. So what you'll spend to go out and eat a nice dinner, you can know your risk for heart disease in seconds. So that's what I would say. Get a home blood pressure cuff. Check it several times a week, especially if you're at risk for heart disease, primary relative, overweight, over the age of 35, all of those things.
Sedentary.
Sedentary lifestyle. If you're at risk, get a home blood pressure meter and check your blood pressure often.
Okay, what I would like to say is why. Why are Black women number one as it relates to heart disease in America? Why? We know why. A lot of times we're often the primary breadwinner. We're raising the kids. We have a job, sometimes multiple, and a side hustle. We're taking care of parents. We're active in the church. We're in a social club, sorority, or something else. We have a lot of roles that we take on, and a lot of times we feel like it's an outlet for something good or something we feel like we have to do, but in fact it's causing us stress because you're trying to be everything for everybody and not taking time for yourself. So we had a women's wellness event last Wednesday, and Pastor Michelle mentioned, and I love this, write down all of the buckets that you pour into. Then take a look at those that pour back into you. And then if you see that balance is off, there may be some buckets you got to kick the buckets.
Yeah.
And gone are the days of being superwoman. You have to put the mask on yourself first to save yourself before you can help anybody else.
That's right.
You have to pour into yourself before you can pour into those buckets. So, screenings. So when we talk about self-care, a lot of times we think about mani, pedi,
facial,
hair, going out for brunch with, girl talk. That's social, that's upkeep. A lot of times for us, that's just maintenance to show up professionally, what have you. But self-care to me is taking care of the inside. And by that, I mean knowing your numbers. What is your normal blood pressure? Is your diet affecting those numbers? Is it because you're not exercising? Is it affecting those numbers? But you won't know that unless you go and get those screenings, mammograms, pap smears. What are those screenings for your age group? We're in 2024. We shouldn't be letting these things sneak up on us. We should know what our baseline is, and then know what the trend is. If it's creeping up quickly, or are you remaining steady year over year? So, number one, why is it? And of course, there are other factors. We know about social determinants of health, access to health care, lack of insurance, under treatment, implicit bias, But
all the things.
All the things. But we're in the community. We're offering screenings, and when we come across some of our brothers and sisters, the first thing they say, the famous 2 words, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm good.
How you know you good?
Right.
You know, make sure we know.
Hadn't seen a doctor in 10 years.
And, you know, we need to make sure that we know our numbers. We need to make sure that we're able to advocate for ourselves. So being bold. Being bold is picking up the phone, making a doctor's appointment, going to a local clinic if you don't have insurance. That's being bold. And then when they try to turn you around or push you away, be bold and advocate for yourself.
Yes.
So, yes, you are at risk because we know the numbers are high for Black women. So you already know you're at risk. So make sure that you're taking those actions to know about you, yourself, your body from the inside out. And you can only do that with screenings.
Yeah. And we're out here.
Yes, absolutely.
MedsPLUS, A Squared.
Yeah.
A lot of religious organizations will hold screening events for free. Insurance be insurance.
And then not only that, but I mean, I love, you know, participating in community and faith-based events that are free. But Jennifer was talking about brunch. I've been out with my girlfriends for brunch. You're not spending less than $50.
Hello.
If you got the shrimp and grits or the chicken and waffles, you get you a couple of mimosas. You're looking at $50. If you don't have insurance, our pharmacies are solutions for that, because you literally can come to Hoover and go to A Squared, or come to Birmingham and go to MedsPLUS, and we can do a full biometric screening. We were with a nurse. Yes, we were with a nurse practitioner the other day, and he was like, "Y'all are literally doing everything that we would do for a well visit." He said, "For men, the only thing y'all could probably add is a PSA." And I'm online, point of care PSA testing. I mean, literally.
Shouts out to Clea.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, like, we're literally doing everything. If you went to your doctor for a well visit, or a preventive care visit, whatever you want to call it, we're literally doing all of that in our pharmacies, and can give you advice. Now, we can't write you a prescription yet.
Not yet.
Stay tuned. But I mean, we're offering this in our pharmacy for what you would spend out at brunch with your girlfriends.
Correct.
So you have to prioritize what's important. Is it, you know, to make sure my hair, my nails, my fit is right, or to make sure your heart's going to be ticking in the next 10 years? It's the priorities.
Correct. And we have
Because they can snatch you up in them coffins.
Yeah, correct.
Ask a shop. We have to be better with ourselves too, because we've heard this for years and years. And like you said, it's 2024. We've heard hypertension is the silent killer. Like, we know Black women are, you know, most affected by heart disease, mortality. Like, we know these things, so we have to be better to ourselves. You can't have Chick-fil-A all the time.
Correct. As delicious as it is.
That's God's chicken. Now.
Correct. I like that.
God's chicken.
It is.
What they say in the Polynesian sauce is the blood. The communion cup.
The blood of the lamb.
So we can't.
I actually prefer Chick-fil-A sauce, but
Polynesian.
Polynesian, please. But you know, we can't do that all the time. We have to watch the salt shaker, eat more fruits and vegetables, move our bodies, whatever that looks like for you. Yes.
And can I just interject on the move your body's part? Why is it when it's a party, a reception, some type of event, and it's time for that line dance, we gonna break a sweat.
Right click now, y'all.
But
correct.
Movement, physical activity, exercise, that's all it is. Do it at home. Do it from the mirror. You know, do your own version of something, but we got to remember to stay active and keep moving. That's a gift from the forefathers.
Yes.
Ancestors. We were built to move.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So it is American Heart Month. I'm doing the 100-mile challenge with 88.
Congratulations.
Yes. You got this.
I might pop in with you.
Come on. Trying to walk 100 miles by February 28th. Okay. I'm at 2.9 miles right now.
Okay, there you go.
So we getting there.
Today's just the 3rd, so
yes. And then I'm also gifting my intern with CPR certification because that's important to have too.
Nice. Yes.
Hands-on
Even if
CPR.
you're not from yes, no press, pump on the chest, fast and hard.
That's right.
So
Staying alive. That's my song.
Yes. Staying alive. Staying alive.
That's right.
Yes. So what are you guys doing to celebrate American Heart Month? Doing anything special? Any events?
Well, one of the things, and this is, again, I posted it on our Facebook page, but if someone purchases a blood pressure cuff or blood pressure meter from MedsPLUS Consulting, we will offer you free training. And it's not just important to have a blood pressure meter at home, it's also important to know how to use it correctly.
Yes.
Because you want to get the most accurate number that you can get. So that's one of the things that we're doing. We want you to not only purchase a blood pressure meter, but know how to use it, know how to, put it over the break of your artery. Make sure you're sitting down with your legs not crossed. Take 5 minutes before you actually take the reading. All of those things are very important. Personally, I've not decided to do anything for American Heart Month yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll join you in that challenge. I don't know.
Donate some miles.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, so I like that because
can we
that
form
way
a group?
collectively, absolutely.
That would be
I like
that would be fabulous.
Okay,
So let's
well,
do
I'm
that,
in,
'cause-
and I've never really thought about that. So that's a good question, because that's 28 days, and it takes 21 days to form a habit. So that's a very good challenge, and
Way
I
to
like
get
that.
started. Yeah.
Exactly, because typically when I think of February, I think of Black History Month, and what am I going to do?
And my birthday. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, your birthday.
What I'm going to do around that time. But yeah, I like that idea about the collective move. So
Let's do
that'll be
it.
what
Let's
I'll be
do
doing.
it.
Yes. Well,
So you can do biking, walking, running,
swimming.
Okay.
Just send me your miles.
Okay. I will do.
Well, thank you both so much for. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, one more question.
No.
Oh, okay. I'll just say thank you for joining me. I'm so happy we finally got a chance to
I know.
to do this. So tell the people where they can follow you on all the socials.
So yes, we are on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And just search MedsPLUS Consulting on all of those, and we should pop up. We are the
Look for the
orange and gray cross.
Hey, yeah. Okay, one last thing before we get out of here. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of drug products? And it's gonna be prescription, it can be over the counter, it can be herbal.
Ooh. Do we need 4? How many people on Mount
four.
Rushmore?
Yeah,
Okay.
4.
I thought it was 4.
So I'll give you my 4.
Okay.
Penicillin. The Salonpas, the heat wraps for the bite.
You like those?
Yes, I used to put them on the
front.
front when I used to have real bad cramps.
Yeah.
Oh, the best.
Never used those.
Ginger,
Okay.
ginger root, and Lidoderm. Pharmacists, shout out.
Yeah.
It's my route.
So your stuff is it's pain and stiffness.
Come
That's
on,
a good
Jennifer.
question.
Yeah, I'm thinking my first one is, did we say brand names or generic?
You can say either or. It's your show. You do what you-
Manjaro.
Hey, Manjaro. Shouts out to Manjaro.
Shouts out Zepbound.
Okay.
Hey, yes.
Yes, now it's Zepbound because no, I'm not a
yes.
diabetic. Yes, for weight control. Then I would go with Flonase for allergies. Over the counter.
This is kind of a hard
nutraceutical-
question.
Nutraceutical, which we have an e-store for. It's called PEA for short. It's a long chemical name. That would be my third because it definitely works without having to take Tylenol or Aleve, stuff
Okay.
like that. And let's see, I'm thinking head to toe.
That's a good.
You want to cover all the body parts.
Probiotic.
Oh, that's
yes,
good.
That's a lifesaver.
That's
I was taking
good.
doxycycline.
Oh gosh,
Save the
bless
day.
your heart.
What's
All
your
right,
Mount Rushmore
so
of
yes,
drugs?
my Mount Rushmore of drugs. I would definitely say the GLP-1s, GIPs, because just like I said, everyone should have a blood pressure monitor 3 times. Obesity is a chronic disease. Obesity is a chronic disease. Obesity is a chronic disease. that deserves the same amount of research and development to develop amazing drug products, which the GLP-1s and GIPs, we're talking Ozempic, we're talking Mounjaro, we're talking Zepbound, are doing amazing things to treat obesity. So I would definitely put that at the top of my list. I would put antidepressants at the top of my list. Pick one. It doesn't even matter. Because, so many people have battled depression.
Yes.
That I believe the antidepressants have just done amazing things at helping people just normalize their mood, just regulate their mood. And we all know that when we're in a better mood, this world is a much better place.
Yes.
So I'll definitely say antidepressants. I would say probably sleep aids, because I am an insomniac, and I have taken my sleeping medicine and been awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not a nice person. I mean, I'm nice, but I'm just really quiet. And I can't think and I can't create. Yeah, I mean,
Close the door.
I'm not a good person when I haven't had my sleep. So I would definitely say sleep aids. And then I would agree with... They talk about
Jennifer going through it every sleepy day.
Well, she's had to. I mean, yeah. I'm not a nice person. But then my last one will be probiotics too, because we know that everything kind of originates from the gut, from our brain health to our immunity. It all comes from the gut. So you got to have a healthy gut in order to. For your other body processes to run effectively. So I would say probiotics as well, a good probiotic too.
And I just thought about something. You said penicillin first. You're looking out for them STDs.
Shouts out, still works. Still works. One in each cheek.
Pew, pew. Shout out, wrap it up, please.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, as pharmacists, we marvel at penicillin and what it's able to do. But if you were to utilize safe sex, we could prevent a lot of this. And we're talking about antibiotic resistance. We know that there are some sexually transmitted infections that are resistant to antibiotics. So please, y'all, wrap it up.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Be safe, be well, and thanks for watching. Bye. Sorry, Wule.
I'm trying to wrap it up.
Wait a minute. I can go